Back there. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Welcome to Behind the Scenes. All right, so we're starting today off by closing my curtain. Hold on. See, that's a little trick. Does that work? That's better. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, welcome to Tuesday. I think, yeah. And wow, halfway through September. It is literally dead on September 15th. So welcome to halfway through September. This thing, the year is flying by. I know everybody's like, oh, can't wait to get to 2021, right? Well, we have a few months left, folks. All right. Good morning. It is time for day 2 of our daily, weekly lives. I don't know, something like that. And today we're going to pick up where we left off yesterday with the 3-point power profile. Before we do, let's introduce my co-host, Ronan Rahman. There you are.
Hey, how are you?
Good. It's going to be a beautiful day.
It's T-shirt Tuesday.
Well, for you, I'm in my AV black, unit.
Right. Here. You're like, one of those event people that doesn't want to be seen.
That's right. I'm on blend in.
But this today is this is my CASA shirt. And if you don't already know, the CASA programs exist in about 958 jurisdictions, and they all work to support kids in foster care. So that's something that I'm involved in and passionate about, and part of what our business supports. And I know you have Boy Scouts of America. That's your that's your primary focus of giving.
I invest more time volunteering for that organization than any other. That is true.
Yeah. So just want to let everybody know everything that we do here funnels into that in some way, shape, or form.
Helping kids.
Yeah. Kids are it for me. They're inheriting this planet, not me. So with that, let's see what you have to say about the 3-point power.
Someday you'll get it. Someday
I've gotten it once or twice.
Yeah, once or twice. That's all right.
Once or twice I get it, but it's usually once a month or something like that.
Yeah,
because we only do this talk 4 times a month. Anyway, I digress. But we are live, as you can tell, and put a comment down there. Ask a question. We will answer it,
or let us know you're here.
Yes. All right.
Okay. Well, let's dive into the training. So, the 3-point power profile. This is for LinkedIn. Okay, in case we didn't clarify that, we are helping you this week with your LinkedIn campaigns, both getting yourself set up and then ultimately connecting with and setting appointments with people who you may want to do business with. So yesterday we went over the market to message match and showed you a formula for how we can create headlines for your LinkedIn profile or elsewhere, which is one of the 3 points in the power profile. Today, we're going to go over all 3. And so with that, let's go to my screen, Ronan, and I will start the show. Okay, switching around again. All right, here we go. So the 3-point power profile. Now, there are a lot of areas of your LinkedIn profile that we could dive into. During these daily trainings, we go for like 15 minutes. So we don't allow for the time to go through all of your profile. But if you just get these 3 dialed in and dressed up, you're going to be miles ahead of probably most of your colleagues, and you'll be ready to start campaigning on LinkedIn. So here we go. I'm going to show you a few examples of well put together LinkedIn profiles. They're all a little different from each other. So you'll get some, and what I want you to do is you look at these and hear what I'm saying is write down notes that might resonate with how you could incorporate this into your own LinkedIn profile. So here's Dana Earhart. She's a fantastic coach. She works with accounting and bookkeeping and law firms, helping them get, just a whole lot of things, really getting things organized, getting their productivity in check, and helping them not only grow their practices, but also get time back. So let's start out with the first part of the profile, which is your face, your profile photo, it's called. or your social media headshot, you might hear. And you can see Dana's is here, and she had a professional make her photograph, which is always the best choice. So if you, don't have a professional headshot or anything that's recent, meaning within the last, let's say, couple of years, it's probably time to go get one done again. Okay. Photographers are out there. They're back in business. They're making photos. So go out there and support a local photographer and get a really nice headshot made for your social media, which, by the way, you can use it across all your social media, among other places. So, but if you don't have a professional make your photo, at least make sure that you follow the following 4 guidelines. Number 1 is make sure you have a non-distracting background. And the best choice is just something plain. As you can see here, Dana's got a plain charcoal gray colored background that works perfectly. It doesn't have to be that color. You can use white, but just something plain and non-distracting. Avoid things like having scenery in the background or photographs in the background or bookcases or anything that would be distracting that would draw my attention away from looking at you. So that's the key with the background. Number 2, it's a close-up shot. So close up to your face. Just show maybe a little bit of shoulder and your face, because this image shows up in a lot of different areas, oftentimes very, very small, especially if someone's on a mobile device, which is where most people are visiting your LinkedIn profile from. So you want to make sure it's close up, otherwise we can't see you. So, on this big screen that I'm looking at, it's huge, but it's normally not that large. All right, 3, you want to make sure that you have a well-lit photograph, meaning that there's not unusual shadows blocking us from seeing your eyes or half your face or things like that. So lighting is important. If you have a professional do it, they'll get it right. If you do not have a professional do it, just make sure there's a lot of light coming in from all directions from around you when you're making your photograph, whether it's indoors or outdoors. All right. And then finally is your expression. That's number 4. Make sure your facial expression is simply inviting. Okay. You want to make sure that when someone looks at your photograph and they see your facial expression, it's an inviting look. Oftentimes a smile works, but something that's inviting. And don't hesitate to send your desired photographs or maybe a few options to your friends and maybe other colleagues and ask them for which one they resonate best with, because that will give you some good feedback. All right, that's it on the profile photo. Next is your cover image. That's the big banner on the top, that rectangular banner. It's called a cover image. And I'm going to talk about really a lot about what not to do and then a couple things of what to do. So avoid putting too many words in your cover image. I see a lot of people putting in way too many words, and avoid when you use words, make sure they're big and bold and easy to read in a font that's also easy to read. Avoid things like scripted fonts and stuff like that that's hard to read. So you want to use nice, bold fonts that pop on the color that you're using. Here's a great example with Dana, real, relatable results. It's very easy to read. It shows up on all screens very, very well. It's simple. You want to think about this like driving by a billboard on a freeway. You're flying by at 80 miles an hour or however fast you drive. You have milliseconds to actually read what's on the billboard. Treat your cover image the same way. For your background, I like to advise clients to do something that's not just professional, but also something that expresses a bit of your personality. So in this case, Dana invests a lot of time. I don't know if invest is the right word. She enjoys spending lots of time with her 9-year-old son. And so we chose this kind of silhouetted image of what looks like a mom and her son outdoors having a good time. And so this is something that expresses a bit of her personality, and it's also professional as well. So don't be afraid of incorporating some of you into your profile. I mean, at the end of the day, people do business with other people. And so you don't have to be so stale in your approach, I guess is what I'm trying to get at here. And then, but also keep it simple. Okay. You don't have to go, don't make it crazy, busy. And then finally, go ahead and use your logo if you want. Here, Dana used hers here. Just don't make it too overwhelmingly large. I see a lot of profiles that have these huge logos on their profile cover image. And candidly, the only one who really cares about your logo is you. The only reason I would choose to put my logo on the profile is just to show that you are in business. You have a business, you are a professional. So for that reason alone, it makes some sense if you have a professional logo to use it. Just make it subtle. And then finally, of course, is the third part of the 3-point power profile is your headline. And we went over a formula yesterday in the afternoon for how to develop these. I'm not going to go over that today, but just make sure that you do have a punchy, relevant headline that follows the market to message match training that we presented yesterday. I'll read Dana's here. It's right below her name. It reads, "Get your weekends and evenings back while building a wildly successful accounting, bookkeeping, CFO, or law firm." So it speaks to her audience. It's a very powerful statement for the right person, and that's what you want to get out of with your headline. Your headline is arguably the most important part of your LinkedIn profile for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is every time you do anything on LinkedIn, you make a connection request, your headline is seen by the person you connect with. You post a comment on anybody else's post. Everybody who reads your comment also sees your headline. You make a new post on LinkedIn. Everybody sees your headline. You send somebody a message through InMail or LinkedIn messaging. That person sees your headline. So your headline is carried along with pretty much everything you do on LinkedIn. And so you want that to repeat itself over and over and over again to the right audience. And that's why it's so important. All right, let's show you a couple of other examples of other profiles that we've worked on to give you some different ideas. So next is Sergio Chavez. Sergio has his profile image, his social media image of himself fits what we just talked about. So I'm not going to repeat any of that stuff. He chose to use kind of a blurred out background. So that's fine. There's nothing there to really look at. It's non-distracting. So you can use that technique as well if that works. For his cover image, he chose to not use any words or logos, even though he has both. He chose instead, which I like, to kind of do kind of a behind the scenes, over the shoulder, literally look of what it might be like working with Sergio. He does online advertising, Google advertising, Facebook advertising, YouTube advertising. By the way, he happens to do all of our online advertising. He's fantastic. I've been working with him for many, many years. He's also a client of ours. So if you need somebody for that, please reach out to Sergio. But I think this works really well for him because it really shows kind of an experience of what it might be like working with him. He's got a client here. He's got some charts and graphs that you really can't discern what they are, which is fine. But it gives you that sense of, okay, this is someone that's in the business. This is a professional shot of what it's like to work with him. I love it. I actually think this was made from someone's phone. So, but it works really, really well for what he's wanting to convey here. And then, of course, his custom headline. Okay, we talked about that. I'll read his for you just so you get another sense of what one might look like or hear like. Real results for healthcare service providers using Google Ads without the usual nonsense you've experienced with others. So that works really, really well for his market. By the way, and this ties into something we talked about yesterday, is this is actually we're actually pivoting his campaign because he works with a number of different business verticals. Healthcare happens to be one of them. He also works in e-commerce. And so we're pivoting his headline and his campaign to shift into more of an e-commerce focus. So that's something we talked about yesterday is you can always run multiple campaigns or pivot your campaign and edit your headline to accommodate that during that time period where you're running a new campaign. So I just thought I'd point that out because I noticed that this is actually a screenshot from the previous campaign we were running with him. All right. Next, let's show you Ronan Rahman's cover. Again, professional photograph, not going to get into that again. His cover image, he's in the business like me of helping people get appointments. And so he's got a kind of a fancy fountain pen looking like they're about to jot in an appointment for lunch. I like it. It works. And a decent use of the logo. I might actually make that a little bit smaller, but it's fine. It doesn't overpower the entire cover image. And then, of course, his custom headline reads guaranteed appointments with IT decision makers at 25 plus $1 million US based companies. So you can focus on IT solutions. So again, a statement that resonates with his audience. And I'm going to show you one more just for good measure, and that is Shannon Graham. Shannon has a completely unique look that fits his brand very, very well. And I will point one thing out. I did mention having good lighting and make sure you avoid any kind of strange shadows on your face. And here's an example where shadowing and lighting is actually used very effectively with his brand. So this is obviously a photograph made by a professional photographer, and the lighting works. I mean, he's got this very serious, conservative, brand image and identity. And he works with very high level entrepreneurs and venture capitalists, and it just works for him. So, so if that's you, right, and that fits your personality and the personality, of course, of your brand, then go ahead and use some interesting lighting and shadowing. That's fine. For most of us, that's not where we're going to go. But for Shannon, it works really well. So I just want to point that out. And that's why I'm showing you this particular example. Once again, he's got a few words that pop. That white text on black pops very nicely. He's got his logo up there. That works also very well. And of course, his headline reads, "Cornerman for CEOs. I protect your investments by getting peak performance from your founders." So those are 4 different examples from well put together, at least the 3-point power profile well put together for you to noodle. And so I'd love, if you're watching this now or the replay, and you come back again to one of our trainings, I would love for you to post a link to your LinkedIn profile. If you would like any kind of hot seat input on it, we're happy to help you with that. So I'm going to come back here to full screen. Boom, boom. Thank you. And that's what I got, Ronan, for today. So would you like to add any additional commentary?
The only thing I would add, this is who you are, right? This is how you're representing yourself. This is the only way people are going to know who you are. So it's about putting your best foot forward and about representing yourself in the best possible light. Not like you're faking it, but like really authentically showing that in a professional way. So, it's just like this profile page is the receptionist. It's the first thing people see and the first thing that people get to know. So make it count. With the photo, one of the things I see a lot, aside from stuff in the background, when people don't do it professionally, they just sort of stand up against this wall. It looks like a mugshot. It looks like somebody pushed you up against the wall and said, "Stand still, let me shoot this." It just looks kind of hokey. You invest the time, invest the money. This is all about your business. This is not the place to cut corners.
That's right. I agree. Absolutely.
Excellent.
All right. Well, with that, that ends today's training. Tomorrow, we will be getting into messaging. So if you're stuck on what to say and how to say it to folks, either whether you're connecting with them for the first time or reconnecting with them, or just wanting to warm up a new relationship, tomorrow we're going to cover all of that and show you some very specific examples which you can make your own. And so tomorrow is messaging. We look forward to seeing you during that training. With that, have a great September 15th. And man, let's just run hard until the end of this month, because next month begins the 4th quarter. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And it's like, okay. I could go on about 2020. I will see you tomorrow and we'll start messaging.
Awesome.